Do you wish you had a perfect ref sheet? Hello, furry watching this video. Would you like the perfect ref sheet to give to your maker? Because I asked a ton of fursuit makers what they would want. What would you love a furry's ref sheet to have in a perfect world? And they all answered me. And hilariously, I made pretty much every single beginner's mistake. But yeah, that's what being a beginner is like. So I'm making this video for you so you don't make the mistakes that Z made. Yay! Yay! Possible titles of the video also include: don't make your fursuit maker cry with these simple tips, make the best ref sheet for your fursuit possible, the ref sheet checklist for furries, fursuit makers hate them, find out why, and redo your ref sheet now. Tips, tips, tips. Or blank reasons your fursona ref sheet sucks and you need to change it now. Full disclosure, Z's ref sheet has so many mistakes for a fursuit ref, I don't know how she got made at all. I have 3 ref sheets. I have the first one I ever made, I have the second one I ever made, and both of those were sent to my fursuit maker, and somehow she made Z out of them. I don't know. And then I made another one which is slightly better, but I still wouldn't really send it to a fursuit maker because it's not perfect either. So, you know, I'm not perfect. But we're going to make the perfect one today. Number 1, made this mistake. Number 1, flat colors only. This means no shading. Your ref sheet has shading on it. You can't do that. Your maker's going to think that's a different color. Do not use shading. No cell shading. No light shading. No, like, just touch it up shading. No, none of that. Take the shading off. Your colors are going to be all wonky. Like, don't. Just don't. Number 2, this is overlooked on a lot of reference sheets, but make sure your font is readable. I'm going to get into this a little later, but use black as your color and use white for the background. You do not need a background on your ref sheets. Choose a font that you can look at from this far away and read everything on your sheet. If you're not using a font like that, you're doing it wrong. If I have to squint in order to understand it, no, bad font. Don't use that. It doesn't have to be a good font, it just needs to be a readable font. I got a lot of great advice from people on Twitter, so this is Angel the Fennec Fox, and they write, use a front, back, and side view. 2 3/4 views is a bit difficult to translate onto a fursuit, especially if your suit isn't symmetrical. What this means is have your suit from the front, from the back, from the side. Obviously, you need my full body in the picture, but that's what they mean by that. Do not have the fur outlines. I had mine on there for Z. Don't do this. Keep them straight, since some makers mistake that as a zigzag line. Unless you want that, then that's fine. Just make sure that they know. Here's an example of a not so fursuit friendly 3/4 view of their OC Rory. And yeah, they're going to have a better ref in the future. If you can, find fur swatches yourself. Go online, look at Big Z Fabric, fursuitsupplies.com, Howl Fabric, list what type of fur it is. Is it going to be a luxury shag? Is it a beaver? Some fur colors just don't exist in real life. That is why Z is purple currently, is because I really wanted her to be a light pink, but I couldn't really find anything that matched. So the purple was close enough. If you don't do that, you're letting your maker decide for you, which, if you're okay with that, go ahead. But if you're not okay with that, maybe you should do the research yourself. And just note, it's probably not going to be the exact same color unless you are working off the fur swatches to make your fursona. But if you do it yourself, you do it yourself. If you're comfortable with your fursuit maker making the decision for you, go ahead. You're going to want to write if it's plantigrade or digigrade on the reference because they don't really know sometimes. Plantigrade suits generally cost less, but if you pay for a planty suit and you give them a digi ref, you're not going to get a digi suit, and sometimes it might end up a little wonky, so make sure you're using the style that you're going to give your maker. Make sure that you write your species name, and if it's a made-up species, let them know where they can find additional information about that species. The background of your reference should be in white. This is because your fursuit maker is going to print this out probably multiple times, and you're just going to want to have mercy on their printer ink. The red, beautiful drawn background with all of the intricacies and everything is very nice and all, but it's totally not needed for your maker. Black font on white. Again, make it easy to read, easy to print out, clear, clarity, very key. Make sure you're calling out specific pieces that you don't want missed, especially if they're small. Don't draw your fursuit in clothing, unless you have another picture of them outside of clothing. Your fursuit maker doesn't care about what clothes they wear. Don't use gradients unless you want to pay for them with airbrushing. Fursuit fur does not come in a gradient usually. Do I have any? I don't even have any on my stack that come in a gradient. No. You should have a swatch section where all of your colors should live, and if there isn't a color in the swatch section, that's really confusing to your maker, so make sure all of your colors are in there. They could be overlooked if they're not in the swatch section, and maybe the fur won't be bought. Anatomically, tails don't come out of your butt. They come out of the base of your spine. So take a look where the base of your spine actually is and put the X there instead of lower. Your image should be as clear as possible. Some makers prefer a 360-degree view of the head, especially if markings, etc. are not mirrored. This is what a 360-degree view of the head looks like. If there's anything that you're making yourself and you don't want your maker to make it, make sure you tell them. I'm not sure you need to put this on no reference, but you do need to email them about it. My friend Eva Chu does fursuit reference commissions, and she actually has 2 different styles when she does her model sheets. This is the difference between her fursuit style model sheet and regular model sheet. The fursuit style is a T-pose side, front, back with human proportions based on the style of the desired maker, if possible, and the client's choice of poses and more personality-based is the other style of model sheet. You can have examples of fur or fabric colors or textures that you want. Also, please have it drawn around a human-ish shape. This is so that the client can see what limitations there may be. Makers are extremely talented, but they can't break the human form itself. That means don't give them a picture of a dog. It's gotta be in an anthro form. If the character has wings, hair, or feathers, or anything that covers up designs, make sure you include a view without those designs that are going to be covering them up. If there are any crucial character features, like the hair always falls to the left, please write that down. Your fursuit maker's gonna love you. Please don't use any dynamic poses. T-pose is great. Assert your dominance. If there are intricate markings, a front view of the marking without wrapping to get a good view of all the details is very appreciated. Make sure you're including a mouth reference, which includes the tongue, an eye reference that includes the color or any unique shapes that your fursuit eyes are going to have. Make sure you have a paw pad reference. You can go on the Minky website and see what colors of Minky are available and just pick them out yourself, because Minky is pretty standard. Minky is used for your paw pads. They're used for my soles of my hands because I'm a raccoon and I don't really have paw pads. If there's anywhere with particularly difficult markings, always include a close-up. Make sure you're detailing the top and the bottom of your tail, especially if they're different. Show the hands and feet, top and bottom, and consistent markings. Show your claw colors. If you would like your paws to be 5-fingered or 4-fingered, you gotta tell your maker, otherwise they're just going to make whatever they think is good. They don't know. How are they supposed to know if you don't tell them? If your maker offers 2D versus 3D style eyes, you should probably let them know your preference. Make sure you have your tongue color detailed. Some fursona refs don't have them. It matters a lot, apparently. You need your tongue color. How are they supposed to know what that is? Huh? How are they supposed to know the color if you don't give it to them? You need a maw view. This is a maw view. If you included your fur length or fur type preference in your ref, makers are going to love you. Please include an accurate tail length. When translated to suit, it helps determine pricing. Some makers charge more for longer tails, and they should. That's a lot more fur. It's a lot more work. Nub tails, I know, Nub Club. Nubs are a lot cheaper. Long, big, floor dragger tails, those are really, really expensive, and they should be. I made a gigantic tail, and it took me a day to make, so makers are just gonna kiss you lovingly on the cheek. Maybe, possibly, theoretically. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I decided to take my own advice and I made the best damn reference sheet ever. That's not it. That's also not it. No, we're almost there. Almost. There it is. Beautiful. But wait, there's more. I took it one step even further and I made a template for everybody else to use. Free. If you do end up using my template, please leave a comment. I would love to see it. And if you end up using the template and it becomes a fursuit, holy crap, I really, really want to see that. So please send it to me. I'm on Twitter, @ZKArt. Or if Twitter implodes, YouTube's fine. See the raccoon here. And I am a YouTuber. What's up? I have plantigrade. You should have tips. I blah, 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 blah. No, I don't like that. I'm gonna do the beginning again. This is already said. Cut this. Yay! I know it's 2023 and we all have access to the multiply tool, but no, we don't want to use that. Oh my god, I love my hair. Let's not include that part. That's it. See? It's not that much. It's beautiful. Yeah. Now you have a gorgeous reference that you can give to any fursuit maker, and they're going to understand exactly what you want. And you're going to get what you want, maybe, hopefully. Hopefully. If you like this video, please subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Patreon, all these things. Thank you to my patrons, everybody who's supporting me. That's the only reason that I'm able to do this. So join up. Become a patron. Sign up for my postcard club on Patreon. Get cool postcards. Wow! Did I draw that? I totally did. And it's sent to you. Postcard. I think that's it. That's done. Woohoo!